not just from fans, but from Jin himself. As Jungkook stood beside him, microphone in hand, their voices blending in an impromptu harmony of The Astronaut and Still With You, something more profound than nostalgia echoed through the arena. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't manufactured. It was raw, and for the first time since BTS began their military enlistments, it felt like a moment of reunion, not symbolic, but real. Jin wiped his eyes. Jungkook bit his lip to hide the quiver. The crowd? Silenced, breathless, and some even say, transcended. Social media did not survive the night. Within 30 minutes, the hashtag wasn't just trending, it was dominating global headlines. What made it more shocking wasn't the presence of Jungkook, but the silence that followed. No press release, no official statement. Just videos leaking across TikTok, lighting up timelines with shaky fan cams that somehow captured the quiet thunder of a band coming back together, one beat at a time. Was this coordinated? Or was this Jungkook acting on instinct, heart first, career second? Analysts argue both. HYBE remained vague, fueling conspiracy theories. Could this really have been a spontaneous gesture of brotherhood? Or are we looking at an intricate PR campaign hinting at the most anticipated comeback of the decade? Insiders whisper that HYBE's executive floor had been buzzing with preparation since late 2024. Files labeled Phoenix have reportedly been circulating. Some say it's a code word for BTS's full comeback project. Others claim it's merely wishful thinking by hopeful staffers who want to believe the band that defined a generation isn't quite done yet. The company's denial statements are curiously non-committal. "We ask for your continued support of our artists," they say. That's not a no. That's not even close. Jungkook's performance wasn't just a treat, it was strategic. The placement, the timing, the vulnerability. He didn't come dressed in performance attire. No glitter, no backup dancers. Just black jeans, a plain white tee, and a gaze that screamed, "I missed you all." It wasn't for the cameras. It was for the people who'd waited 2 years for a sign. And he gave it to them. Fans cried. But they also remembered. They remembered how Jungkook had once whispered in a live stream, "Even if I'm not there, we're still together." They remembered Jin's solo interviews where he'd say, "The stage is never truly full without them." They remembered that BTS, despite all the solo records and military duties, never truly fractured. It paused. But maybe it never broke. And that's why the next stop on Jin's tour is being watched like a global election. Will Jimin appear next? He's reportedly been in LA, just miles from the next venue. Taehyung? He's been unusually silent on Instagram. RM? Spotted near a recording studio in Seoul, his recent cryptic post reading, "The compass turns again." Suga and J-Hope? Both nearing the end of service. The pieces are moving. And they're moving fast. What Jungkook triggered wasn't just fan service, it was emotional reactivation. The way the stage roared when he sang Euphoria made it clear, people are done with BTS. And BTS isn't done with us. This isn't a goodbye, it's a prelude. People forget. Jin is the oldest. He's the one who went in first and came out first. And now he's the one starting the fire again. With Jungkook by his side, he's not just touring, he's leading that if you blink, you'll miss it. But if you watch closely, you'll see it. The band isn't just planning a comeback, they're already coming back, and no one was ready for that. Backstage footage now spreading online adds another layer of intrigue. A quiet clip, captured by a staff member, perhaps unintentionally, shows Jin and Jungkook hugging tightly, whispering inaudible words as stage crew walks around them in hushed awe. It's not just a reunion of bandmates, it's a meeting of brothers who've been through war, literally and figuratively. The look on Jungkook's face? Relief. Gratitude. A touch of fear. Not of failure, but of being too vulnerable in front of the world once again. Fans know that look. They've seen it before, back in 2018, when Jungkook collapsed on stage in London from exhaustion. Or in 2020, during the Map of the Soul on concert, when his smile couldn't quite mask his tears. That same mix of triumph and trauma has always been part of Jungkook's artistry. But this time, it's gentler, more mature. He's not just singing, he's returning. and Jin's presence makes that return feel safe. The tour's second leg, scheduled for Anaheim, now faces astronomical demand. Ticketing servers crashed within 15 minutes of the rumor spreading that other members might appear. An unconfirmed screenshot on Twitter suggests that V has been rehearsing at an undisclosed location near the Honda Center. Meanwhile, radio hosts in Seoul are whispering about a leaked setlist that includes a remix of Spring Day, a track emotionally tied to BTS's journey through time, pain, and reunion. Fans are dissecting lyrics, hunting clues, even decoding Jin's wardrobe changes for hints. And then there's the billboard. On the morning after Jungkook's surprise performance, a new LED display lit up in downtown Seoul. 7 silhouettes standing side by side, backlit in gold, under the caption, "Together again soon." No company name, no hashtags, just a time, March 6th, 26. The internet erupted, HYB denies involvement. Fans don't believe them. Even K-pop rivals have started to acknowledge the moment. Industry veterans, usually diplomatic when it comes to BTS, are openly impressed. One senior manager at a competing label reportedly told reporters, "We haven't seen this kind of emotional loyalty since the Beatles broke up." Or maybe not even then. But beyond the hype and digital detective work, there's a quieter truth resonating across fan communities: healing. For years, the BTS fandom has held its breath through enlistments, scandals, global uncertainty. This performance, this one unannounced moment, let that breath out. It wasn't about spectacle. It was about connection. It said, "We're still here. You're still here. And maybe, just maybe, the best is yet to come." Jungkook's appearance did not overshadow Jin. In fact, it elevated him. The eldest Taehyung, who once stood in the background of dance breaks and deferred to younger voices in press interviews, now stands at the center of a movement. His voice steady, his gaze firm, his heart open. When Jungkook called him "my guide" mid-performance, fans wept not only because it was sweet, but because it was true. And what now? Will the next concert bring more surprises? Will all 7 walk on stage by the final show in London? No one knows. And perhaps that's the point. This isn't a coordinated media rollout. This is BTS writing their own story in real time. Unscripted, fragile, powerful. So keep your eyes on the stage. Listen closely to every lyric. Watch the skies above Seoul, the subtext of Jin's next Weverse post, the smirk in Jungkook's next selfie, because something's happening. And this time, you don't want to blink. The lights dimmed again in Anaheim, and the audience held their breath, not just out of excitement, but out of hope. This wasn't just about performances anymore. Every flicker of the stage, every beat that echoed through the venue, carried a question that haunted every fan's heart. Who might show up tonight? The night before, fans camped outside the arena, some wrapped in BTS-themed sleeping bags, others sharing memories under twinkle lights and portable speakers looping Magic Shop. The energy was beyond concert anticipation. It was spiritual. One fan whispered, "It feels like we're on the edge of history again." Inside, the show began as expected. Jin opened with a powerful rendition of Super Tuna, half serious, half hilarious, and the crowd erupted. He followed with Moon, his voice smoother than ever, a matured echo of the Jin from 2020. Then a brief silence. Suddenly, the screen flickered. A silhouette appeared, tall, lean, unmistakable. Kim Taehyung. Yes, deep gasps filled the air like lightning cracking the sky. Dressed in a classic black velvet suit, V didn't walk. He sauntered. He didn't even sing at first. He just stood there, smiling, waiting for the crowd to believe he was real. And then, with a low, smoky whisper, he sang the opening of Scenery. Not a dry eye remained. Jin stood beside him as they performed an unreleased acoustic duet, rumored to have been written in their trainee days. They didn't speak much, but they didn't have to. Everything was in their eyes. Every note told a story of waiting, of patience, of an unbreakable bond forged under stage lights and sleepless nights. And that night, the message became clear. This wasn't just a Jin tour anymore. It was becoming a slow, careful unraveling of reunion. One by one, The brothers return. Outside the arena, reporters flocked to HYB's temporary press tent, but the company gave no comment. Instead, Jin later posted a selfie on Weverse, captioned only with 3 emojis: hamster face, man dancing, tiger face. Hamster, dancer, tiger. To fans, that wasn't just cute. It was a code, a roadmap, a tease of who might be next. Now, all eyes turn to London, the final stop. Who else will walk out of the shadows? Will Jimin appear, finally bringing promise to the tour stage? Could RM close the show with a surprise reading of Bicycle? Could they all be together again? The truth is, no one knows. And that's what makes this the most emotional BTS moment since yet to come. Because now, for the first time in years, it doesn't feel like the end anymore. IT feels like the beginning. The night London waited for was cloaked in mist, lights painting the Thames in purple as the O2 Arena pulsed with a tension thicker than ever. Fans felt that something was coming. The final stop of Jin's solo tour no longer felt like an ending. It felt like a stage set for history. As expected, Jin began alone. But midway through Abyss, the screens dimmed, the music faded, and a whisper of violin floated through the silence. The crowd froze. Then came the unmistakable voice, soft, emotional, haunting. Jimin. He appeared in all white, stepping through a veil of light like an angel descending, not in metaphor, but in pure emotional gravity. His voice wrapped around Jin's like silk, both fragile and unbreakable. They didn't speak. They sang. Promise, epiphany, and then, to complete the emotional trinity, the truth untold. And just when fans believed their hearts could take no more, the screen behind them flashed 7 symbols. The crowd gasped. One by one, spotlights flared. Namjoon, Yoongi, Hoseok, then all 7. Together, an O announcement. No intro. Just BTS, standing silently in the middle of the stage as the arena collapsed into uncontrollable sobs, screams, and stunned awe. It was a reunion without a press release. A concert without commercial intent. This was their moment. For them. For us. For everything they had built. The first song they performed together, Spring Day, because of course it was Jungkook's voice broke first. Namjoon held his hand. Jimin wiped a tear. Hoseok laughed through his lines. Jin looked out at the crowd, then at his brothers. And he said, softly, "We never said goodbye." And then the lights went out. The aftermath of the surprise BTS reunion in London hit the global music industry like a tidal wave. News outlets from Seoul to Sao Paulo called it the comeback that redefined comebacks. Within hours, millions of tweets flooded the internet. Major streaming platforms saw an immediate spike in BTS catalog plays, and stock prices for HYB surged dramatically. The emotional intensity of that unannounced moment, all 7 on one stage, no words needed, didn't just satisfy fans. It reignited them. And what followed next would leave everyone speechless. Global headlines echoed one question. Was this just a one-night miracle, or the start of something far greater? HYB, staying silent but clearly orchestrating behind the curtain, removed all doubt when their homepage went dark, except for a countdown clock. 287 days. No explanation. No teaser. Just a time, ticking down, teasing a future that fans have only dreamed of since the group began their hiatus. Theories exploded online. A comeback album? A global tour? A documentary? Some whispered about a new cinematic project. Others believed it might be the final phase of their multi-year narrative arc, first hinted at in the most beautiful moment in Life series. Yet, beneath the speculation, something more powerful stirred, healing. The kind that only music and memory, blended with raw human connection, can bring. Fans across generations gathered in online forums, many confessing how BTS had been the lifeline during the darkest of personal struggles. This reunion wasn't just about celebrity or spectacle. It was about belonging again. Jungkook, later that night, posted a single line on Weverse. "It's not over." And in that sentence, the world understood what had truly happened in London. Not a goodbye, not even a welcome back, IT was a restart. AS, the 287-day countdown spread across fan communities. A whisper turned into a promise. BTS wasn't just returning, they were evolving. The rumor mill exploded when music industry insiders hinted at an album titled Still We Rise, rumored to chronicle their journey from separation to reunion. Each member, sources said, would lead one track reflecting personal growth, culminating in a full group anthem rumored to rival Spring Day in emotional depth. Behind the scenes, footage leaked showing the members in a Seoul studio, laughing, arguing over melodies, and hugging after listening to RM's demo. Fans couldn't believe it. This wasn't a memory, it was movement. Every soundbite, from Suga's piano improvisations to Taehyung's whispered vocal runs, suggested something deeper than a comeback. It was therapy, transformed into ARTBY Week's End. BTS confirmed what no one dared hope for: a global tour. 2026, 7 cities, 1 heart.